Hi everyone, it's Katie Kreisdale here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. Welcome back to your weekly Aquatic Industry Insider. In this week's video, I want to talk a little bit about the water crisis we experienced here in southern Alberta, specifically the Calgary area over the last month and a half, June and July 2024. And I want to talk broadly about the greater issue that was coming up in terms of pool operators looking for another source of water to fill and maintain their pools during this water shortage, and some of the safety issues that we can all take away from that type of activity. So to zoom out here for a moment to give some context to this discussion, back in June, there was a water main break in the Calgary area. This was a substantial pipe that broke, and it was round-the-clock attempts to repair it and to triage water supply in the city of Calgary. Almost immediately, the mayor asked Calgary residents to conserve water as much as possible. There was a ban on lawn watering. There was a ban on swimming pools. During this time, the mayor asked Calgary residents to conserve water as much as possible. And so commercial aquatic facilities like municipal pools were shut for a number of weeks because it was not an efficient use of water to take water away from people who need to drink and shower just for recreational pools. During this time, hotels and condos were kind of in a gray area because the city had not told or asked them to close. And even though that use of water was considered non-essential, I did speak to a lot of properties in my work as a management consultant, specifically in the hospitality industry, who are really concerned about their reviews, their occupancy, their revenue, if they closed down the pool and had bookings at their hotel, because this was June, summer vacation was getting underway. It was pre-Calgary Stampede, which is a massive tourist boom during July and late June here in Calgary. So it was leading to a lot of conversations like this one I'll put up on the screen, where a hotel pool operator was trying to come up with other sources of water to fill their pool for the summer season. This is an outdoor pool, or for other clandestine water sources in order to keep their pool operating, because there is the normal amount of splash out, drag out, and evaporation that occurs day to day in pool operations that would be negatively impacted by a directive by mayor and the city to conserve water and only use it for essential activities such as showering, bathing, food, cleaning, that sorts of thing. So I ended up being involved in a lot of conversations over the last couple of weeks about clandestine water sources. I reside in Okotoks, which is outside the limits of the city of Calgary, so we didn't have the same water restrictions. There was a big uptake in usage at my local community pool here in Okotoks because you had people from Calgary, from the outlying areas like Chestermere that also had water restrictions, driving to other communities to swim recreationally, as well as people who may have been going to visit friends or family for, multiple loads of laundry, depending on how seriously they were taking the water conservation efforts. So the main point of this video is I wanted to have a quick conversation about the necessity to use proper quality water when filling a commercial swimming pool. This is not the first time I've had these types of conversations with clients, either people who were in my certified pool operator class before, or clients that I've worked with as a management consultant in helping them to operate their pool more efficiently. And efficiently for me does not mean saving money or time. It means ensuring that the pool as a deliverable is open as much as possible, as safely as possible, as often as possible. That's what I mean when it comes to efficiency as a management consultant working with pool operators. A couple of years ago, I did have a student who reached out to me to say that he was having difficulty achieving a minimum amount of free available chlorine in his outdoor swimming pool. And when I asked about the source of water that he had filled the outdoor swimming pool with, he did admit to using a pump to get water out of the lake adjacent to his property. When I said that the reason he was having a hard time achieving a free available chlorine residual that was compliant to the province where his pool was located and the reason that it was taking all this time, it was not happening right away, is because he hadn't started with purified drinking water. When we think about pool operations, it's easy to think that the water does not need to be drinking grade, but the reality is our pool does need to start with potable water, drinkable water. That is only appropriate from a lake if it has gone through a water treatment process. So here in Calgary, the Glenmore Reservoir is a water source, a lake that is then purified and fed into the city water treatment system. But we do not feed that lake water directly into the water lines that go to people's homes. It does go through a disinfection and filtration process, and the pool is the same. If you're in a rural area and you are ordering truckloads of water, that truckload of water should be proper potable water. It cannot be gray water or black water. It cannot be water that has been collected through rain cisterns or anything like that. It does need to be properly treated potable drinking water. And in the case of the text message thread that I post here, I did encourage the person who was buying water off of a farmer with a well, who was participating in this clandestine water sales while it was difficult to get enough water for commercial usage in Calgary, that they should ask the farmer for proof that their well had been tested by Alberta Health Services. This is a routine procedure for people who use well and other groundwater directly for their primary water, to routinely have it be tested by the AHS lab to ensure that it is safe, it is without contamination, and that it is appropriate. So the main point of this video is saying if you are filling a pool, it does need to be tap water, whether that is a line directly connected to your pool, a pipe that's permanently connected, whether that is a garden hose from a faucet, whether that is a fire hydrant that has been opened up by your local firefighter as part of a purge project that you benefit from receiving the water. The water is treated for human use. It is not for animals. It is not for industrial use. It has a low level of bacteria. It has some free available chlorine to start in the case of city water, maybe not with well water. But the bottom line to this video is you must start with potable water. You cannot use lake water. You cannot use river water. You cannot use gray water, black water. I could go on and on, but that's the main reason I'm making this video. Is this has now come up 2 or 3 times in the last few years. And so I thought it would be prudent to take a moment and say that pools, although we don't drink the water actively, we tell kids not to drink the water, it still does need to be safe enough to do so. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.